You might think that starting up new companies, it's not so important to think about code of conducts and social responsibility, etc. But actually there are quite a lot of dangers if you are not aware of these things. And also the contrary, there are certain advantages that you can achieve by understanding codes of conducts, particularly on the marketing side. For a number of startup companies that we have been initiating, for instance in Luxembourg, where we have a group of some 30 students and probably some 10 companies that we are working on the business plan. Most of them are actually trying to use some of the advantages of understanding codes of conduct, etc. And particularly for socially oriented ventures, and I would say also clean technology kind of products, these kind of arguments can be linked to what I'm going to say. So that's why I think this is an interesting aspect of knowledge that should be involved in shall we call it, the knowledge package that can be provided from educations like those offered here by this school. So we will talk about code of conduct and corporate social responsibility. The background will be a little bit the Swedish context, and you probably have your context here when it comes to some of these code of conducts, but that you will see as we advance. We will look at a few cases just as an introduction. About 2 years back, there was a discovery that goose feathers and down for pillows, bed covers, sporting goods, etc. were in many cases picked from live geese. Live geese. And that after picking were regrowing the feathers. So one was harvesting, so to say, the feathers from these live animals. And people didn't know that and never thought it was like that. And sometimes this is repeated 2 to 3 times. And in these cases revealed, wounds resulted, some had been sewn without anesthetic, and geese were screaming, cackling, etc. And where did this occur? Well, here in Europe, in Hungary, in Poland, and in China. And of course the EU regulation people in Brussels, they were very much concerned that this cannot be true. But it was true. And then you can say which countries were affected. Well, IKEA, certainly. They are selling products with these goose feathers. But they were able to prove that this was part of their requirements, buying from suppliers, that this should never occur, and it evidently was checked up. But H&M, I don't think was that clear. H&M, that's the company selling, yes, exactly. There were other cases, duck feathers, etc. And the interesting thing is that large companies then were potentially very much affected by these things, and the people on the street were very much concerned about this. So this is something to think about, for instance. There are other cases. Very close to this other case, there were some smart Irish people that were producing beef, that discovered that beef coming from Brazil, which was a very strong competitor, were not able to know from where the beef was coming. The traceability was not possible to ensure from the beef competitors. So they reported this to the EU authorities, which immediately said, no Brazil origin beef is allowed. And it took the Brazilians half a year before they were able to actually clear this problem. And in the meantime, of course, the Irish beef producer benefited and got a larger market share. And there you see how a mistake in this area can be recognized by a competitor and used to their advantage in the competition. So there is part of the danger. It's not only the regulations and that you may run into a legal suit, but also that the competitors actually look after what you are doing and take a business action to their advantage.